On today's show, a very special guest. It's the former NBA All-Star Gordon Hayward. He discusses how close he was to becoming a Warrior and breaks down Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and Jimmy Butler's game, plus the current state of the association. Let's lock in.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast.
What are they going to say now?
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into Locked On Warriors. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. If your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. My name's Charlie Walter. I cover this team for this show. Monday through Friday, I go live after all the games, and we talk Warriors basketball. Keep it real on this program. Thank you so much for making it a part of your day, a part of your week. Hit that subscribe, hit that like, and catch us on YouTube or wherever you get your audio podcasts. The guest today, as I mentioned, Gordon Hayward. We're talking all things Warriors and the association. The conversation starts right now. Gordon Hayward, our gracious guest on the program today, retired from the association a couple of seasons ago. And based on the statistics and the amount of run that you were getting in games, you still had more left in the tank. Why'd you decide to call it quits?
Yeah, it was a tough decision, but I think it was something where, I've got young kids at the time, 4 young kids, now 5 young kids. And, you feel like you only get one opportunity with those guys. And I had done a lot in my basketball career. I clearly was starting to wind down and had opportunities to keep playing. My body felt honestly not too bad, but wanted to spend more time with the kids. Really, that was the biggest thing. Wanted to be around my family more. I was missing sporting events and missing school events. And, and you're sitting in the middle of February in Cleveland by yourself in a hotel room, you're kind of like, what am I doing here? So it was just time to give it up.
I was doing this show last summer, I guess, summer of 2024. And I actually brought up on one of the shows before I had met you, like Gordon Hayward would be a great Steve Kerr type of player. He's a free agent, probably, could get him on a decent deal. Like they should hit up Gordon Hayward. You end up retiring. That point becomes moot. But I've always thought you were kind of a Steve Kerr guy. What do you think?
You know what? I think Golden State was an option for me to go to. I think I would have loved to play with Steve or for Steve. We had built a relationship over the years, and funny quick story is when I was almost like in my prime. I think it was either the year I was an all-star or the year before. I had a house in San Diego and Steve was there too. And we met up for lunch, and the entire time we were there, he kept getting people coming up to him for autographs. And I was just sitting there and they just were like, they wanted nothing to do with me. But yeah, it would have been great to play with that crew.
You represent the Western Conference in the All-Star game in 2017. You're coached by Steve Kerr, and in the locker room, you're sharing it with Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant. Any personal experiences that you remember from that game/weekend?
Personal stories. The whole thing was so fast, and they kind of are pulling you different directions. But I do remember those guys were like super relaxed. I was extremely nervous just because it was my first All-Star game, and I had no clue how you're supposed to act, how you're supposed to play. Like, are we playing for real? Are we not playing for real? In that game, Steph got down on the ground and let somebody jump over him and dunk it. So that there was not much competition, I guess, super competitive game going on. But they were just super relaxed, which why shouldn't they be? It was just like their head coach was there. 3 of them or 4 of them were there in the game. It was probably just like another locker room for them. I think they cracked open a couple beers, and it was just another day for those guys.
I want to run through your takes on these Warriors one by one, and let's start with one of the greatest players to ever do it, Steph Curry. What makes him so damn good? Being on the opposing team and not guarding him 1v1, but let's just say you're in help side defense. You know Steph's on the floor. You know his impact on the game. What are you most worried about in that moment? Can you kind of break it down?
Yeah, I think our game plan with him, and I was on the opposite end of lots of situations where you just feel helpless against them. But I think the hardest thing for him was that you had to constantly be knowing where he was at. He was so good at when a shot went up, moving and getting. It's almost like he knew where the ball was going to go, and there would be an offensive rebound, and then there he is, like nowhere to be found except for right by the ball, and it's a kick out three, and those are daggers. Those were devastating. We used to tell our guys the coach used to tell our guys, like, don't even worry about the rebound. Honestly, just look at him. Because the minute that you're ball watching, he's gone, and somehow it's an offensive rebound and then a kick out three. So it was always just, don't worry about those rebounds. Just worry about Steph.
You guys have a similar story in that you both were NCAA tournament heroes, and it's kind of how you were brought onto the national and the world scene, for that matter. Unless you were a diehard college hoops fan, you probably didn't know the names Curry and Hayward until those NCAA tournament explosions. What was your relationship like with Steph growing up in terms of college, when you were introduced to him, high school days maybe? Give me the breakdown.
So actually, we played Davidson. I didn't know him in high school, but we played Davidson in the Bracket Buster when that used to be a thing, mid-majors, and we played at Davidson. I was a freshman. I think he would have been a junior then, and we beat him. And we held him to I think he still got some points, but it wasn't like he went off on us, which was one of the things that Brad was so good at, was defensive game planning against like stars. And so that was actually one of the highlights of my college career, to be honest with you, because that was when he had just started to kind of like take off nationally, and everyone started to know who this guy was. He looked like a 15-year-old and would score 30 or 40 on you. So that was one of my highlights of my career.
What's he like as a competitor from a player on another team's perspective?
I mean, I think he was, when I played him, it was usually just, like pretty quiet. Obviously when like the Warriors would make good run or big plays, he's pumping up the crowd and playing into the energy of that. But from my perspective, there was never really any trash talk or any chirping or anything, and we were always cordial with each other and cool with each other. I think I actually talked to Steph when I decided to come out and play and leave Butler. I talked to him to try to figure out which agent I should go with. So we were always cool with each other, but he was never a player when we played him that was chirping or anything like that.
Coming up, we get Gordon Hayward's thoughts on Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green. That is straight ahead. This episode's brought to you by PrizePicks. Every day we make decisions, but on PrizePicks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss the excitement of this football season with PrizePicks, where it is good to be right. Playing PrizePicks is such a fun, simple way to add more excitement to football. You just pick more or less on player projections, like Josh Allen's passing yards or Saquon Barkley rushing for a touchdown. You do that and you're in the game. My favorite thing about it, it's quick. You make a lineup in under a minute. Also, they added stacks. So if you want to ride with a player, you can select their pass yards, rushing total, touchdowns, all in one lineup. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. Code LOCKEDONNBA for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it is good to be right. If you want comfy jeans wear, Doer is the place to go. They got a physical store in San Francisco. You can also shop online. The best part to me about the Doer jeans wear that I use, and it's the stretch denim slim fit, I believe is the exact version of the jean that I wear. It's got 5 times the stretch of your traditional denim pants. So they feel stretchy without looking stretchy. It's athletic wear. No, it's not. It's something that you can wear to the office. It's nice stuff. Plus, they're antibacterial, meaning they stay fresh longer, so you can wear more and you can wash less. They're made with a CoolMax technology that regulates your body temperature and wicks away moisture, keeps you feeling good as the temperatures change in the Bay Area. Combining classic jeanswear style with the kind and comfort and performance you get from athletic wear, that is Doer, and it's the best of both worlds. There's a reason why they call them most comfortable pants in America, and you should find out why. Go to their store, 567 Hay Street. Mention our promo code LOCKEDONSF in store to get 15% off your first order, or check them out online at shopdoer.com, DUER.com/LockedOnSF for 15% off. That's shopdoer.com/LockedOnSF.
Forget that. We champs. Why are you starting with that question? We got 4 championships.
All right, so we go from a player that doesn't really make a peep on the court unless it's hitting a night-night celebration or throwing a mouth guard. Steph Curry's mainly about business. Draymond Green gets into the chatter during the game, to say the least. Draymond Green is a player, though. Opposing fan bases point to him as triple single. Warriors fans look at him as the glue, as the engine, as the everything dude. What are your thoughts on Draymond Green as a player and what makes him great?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's like the ultimate role player, the ultimate glue guy, like the guy that if you were to go play in a pickup game, like you know, he's not going to score all the points on your team, but you want that guy in your team because he's going to help you win. And so in my eyes, that's always been what makes Draymond so special. You know, he just fits the Warriors mold and fits playing with Steph. And I think his ability defensively to guard 1 through 5, although I do think he gets away with a lot of fouls, but for him to be able to play and guard 1 through 5 and then start the break, I think that's what makes him special as a player. You know, he's a great passer and can see the court really well. And when we played the Warriors that in 2017, I was with the Jazz and we played them when they had KD and the whole squad. And we were actually like relatively okay in the half court at defending them. But what got us into huge trouble is when we would miss and they would push it in transition, and Draymond able to bring up the ball, and so you can't get the matchups right, and it just gets everybody. It's chaotic, but it's organized chaos, and that's when I think they were at their best, and that's when they were super dangerous. And yeah, man, that's what makes him so special.
I think it'd be a hot take if you said any other team than the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant, but was there a team that you played in the NBA that was more of a challenge?
There's 2 times in my career that I felt helpless as a player, like almost like we're playing this team and it's like we have zero chance. I don't see any chance of us winning or winning a series. And it was against the Warriors with KD because like I said, in the half court, we were actually okay. For the most part, except for when they just decided like, okay, enough's enough and let's just throw it into KD. And then now you got a double team and now you're scrambling. So I would say them. And then the Spurs, when they were really rolling with Manu and Tim and Tony. And then when Kawhi kind of came in too, those 2 teams I'd say were the 2 best I've ever played against. I would probably give the edge to the Warriors, to be honest, because KD was, unstoppable. I think he's the best scorer of all time. So
Jimmy Butler's another player, man, that goes beyond the stat sheet. You compare his stats to Andrew Wiggins at the trade deadline when they were swapped last year, and they're very similar. But based on production alone, it's not a coincidence that the Warriors started winning a whole lot of games after that trade. Jimmy Butler is a dude. What makes him a dude?
Yeah, I think I think Jimmy is another one similar to Draymond, but obviously way more of an offensive package. But in the sense of he just makes plays to help your team win. I don't think he necessarily cares about scoring. He just wants to win, and he'll do whatever it takes to win. I think Jimmy is super smart because his skill package is not like on the same level of Steph or KD or some of the best scorers, but he's just so like his jabs, his cutting is really, really good. He knows how to play in the pocket or along the baseline there in the dunker. And that's just on offense. Defensively too, he gets so many of his points off of steals or defensive plays. And then the other thing I think that makes him special is he's figured out a way to get to the free throw line. I think Jimmy has his big scoring nights when he's, like 8 for 13, but then went to the free throw line 10 times and hits 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. So yeah, I think that's it. When you got 2 guys that are really looking to just win the game and not necessarily looking for their own stuff, I mean, that's a lethal combination.
You were a high IQ player, like a Jimmy Butler, like a Draymond Green. It's why I mentioned that I thought you would have fit in the system pretty well. Nowadays, there are multiple types of players, but two that I look at in NBA drafts that are valued differently. Like a Draymond Green, for example, was someone that didn't necessarily have all the tools that we talk about, the athleticism and the measurables and the height and some of those things that they're always looking at the draft, but he had the IQ, which sometimes goes overlooked. And it happens in a lot of sports. I mean, Brady in football. IQ compared to athleticism, what do you value more in today's game? How do you view it?
Yeah, I think it all depends on your team, right? Like me personally, if I was a GM, I'm on the spectrum of I want guys who know how to play and know how to win. That's just I'd rather have those types of players. That being said, if Draymond's the guy on your team, you're not going to win games. You know what I mean? Like you can't have him be a number one option. You can't have him be probably a number two option. Like what makes Draymond, like you got to be able to have a Steph Curry or you got to have somebody, and then you can have the super smart guys balance it out. So I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I think the league's getting taller and taller. It seems to be that way because there's more and more skill. There's more and more players that can handle, that can shoot, that can just do it all. And it seems like everyone's going to be over 6'7", 6'8", and just doing everything in 20 years. But yeah, I mean, I think it is an interesting, if you were a GM, which one would you take? I think I'm leaning more towards the IQ. I just am.
Matas Buzelis of the Chicago Bulls is someone that is drawing some comparisons right now to yourself. You ever turn on the film of anyone, watch a player in the game currently and think, hey, that does look a little like me back in the day?
Well, first I got to say, there's all these comparisons. It's funny. It's like it has to be somebody that's the same skin color of you, right? That's how it was for me when I came out. I think I was compared to Mike Dunleavy. But yeah, I mean, I think Buzelis, I actually was talking about him this morning. He had a really good preseason game yesterday. I think he's going to be super nice. I think he's a little bit different than me because he's like 6'10", but and super fluid, and I think he's going to be really good. I think Austin Reeves has a lot of similarities to me just with his footwork. Very crafty. I was obviously a little bigger than he was. Another white guy for you. But yeah, I mean, I think both those guys are fun to watch. It's so much different when you're on the other side of it,
Straight ahead, what does Gordon Hayward think of the product right now that is on the floor in NBA arenas? He gives his take. That's coming up.
Who can stop Steph Curry?
Hopefully we'll never find out.
Today's episode is brought to you by America's #1 sports book. You know that's FanDuel. And with NFL season being here, FanDuel is the place to be. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That is right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. My favorite thing about using the FanDuel Sportsbook is the live lines. I miss the start of games quite a bit, and sometimes I get some better juice. I thought I was getting -5, and I'm late to the party. My team's down a few. I get +3. It's great. It makes watching football even more exciting when you have something riding on the action. Live lines, over-unders, player props, futures. It's all on FanDuel. It makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Today's episode is also brought to you by Quo. One of the tools that helps make a huge difference for business owners is Quo, formerly OpenPhone. It's the same great business phone system you've heard me talk about before. It's just got a new name. And here's why it matters. Every missed call is money left on the table. When every customer conversation counts, you need a phone system that keeps you connected 24/7. Quo is the #1 business phone system that streamlines customer communications. It works right through an app on your phone or your computer, so no more carrying 2 phones or relying on a landline. Love how it lets you share one number and collaborate on calls and texts like a shared inbox, so no customer gets left hanging. And the built-in AI agent is a game changer, answers calls after hours, captures leads, keeps business moving. See why over 90,000 businesses trust Quo, formerly OpenPhone. Get started free and get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/LockedOnNBA. That is QUO.com/LockedOnNBA. facebook.com/LockedOnNBA. And if you've got existing numbers with another service, Quo will port them over at no extra charge. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. You played some incredible talent throughout your NBA career. Like late stages was Giannis and Jokic and still Curry and LeBron. They were relevant throughout. You got Kobe Bryant in there as well. Who would you say was kind of the player of your generation while you were playing?
You probably have to say LeBron. When I first came in, it was probably more Kobe still. And now it was probably LeBron. And I think with what Steph has done, I mean, he's changed the game. I think probably more than LeBron has changed the game. And so you got to put him on there too. And I think it's still there. I think it's still their NBA. I mean, I think you could maybe argue now it's more shifted towards like international, like Luka, Giannis, and Jokic, I would say. But as far as Americans are concerned, I think it's still those three guys.
Cooper Flag, man. Is he the truth?
He could be. We're going to see. I think if he's got to learn how to shoot consistently, and if he can be a shot maker and a lethal shooter, he's got all the tools. So we'll see. It'll be fun to watch his growth. You mentioned people that I think play like me. I think Cooper plays like I do. I just think he's longer. He's got a 7-foot wingspan. He's a couple inches taller. But I do see a lot of what I used to do in him.
If we have this conversation in like 25 years and I asked you between Shea and Victor Wembanyama and Giannis and Jokic and Luka, who is the player of this upcoming generation? All these guys that are in their prime and the young ones too. Is there a clear-cut answer?
Man, that's a good question. That is a hard question. Well, and the other thing is you just don't know when freak accidents happen and somebody gets injured. I think the guy should be Victor if he stays healthy. Do I think that he's going to stay healthy his whole career? I think he's so big and tall. I hope and pray that he does. I just don't know if he will. I think the Magic have to take a step this year, and I think Paolo is the guy to do it. And I think he's got a chance to be like one of the next faces of the league. So that's a good question. I'll go with Victor just because I hope that he's going to stay healthy. I mean, the stuff he does, the stuff he can do, nobody else can do. You know what I mean? You can't teach that.
The NBA's in a good spot right now, man. I mean, you're not even mentioning someone like Luka Doncic. Cade Cunningham comes to mind that could be a great player in this league for a long time. So you left it better than you found it. And you found it pretty nicely too. Spot. And that's the beautiful thing about the NBA is all these eras provide something different. And you were a part of some of the all-time greats, and we very much appreciate your contributions to the program today, Gordon.
Thanks for having me, Chuck.
All right, coming up on Sunday, we'll have another live postgame show as the Warriors play the Los Angeles Lakers, the 2-0 Warriors in the preseason, I should say, that are riding high, having won every preseason game dating back to a few years ago. See if they can keep it up against the Lakers. Kolsky and I will see you on Sunday. But for now, this is Locked On Warriors, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.